Christina Brown here with the Brown team at Sage Store Realty. I hope you are having a great day. And there are times when you should walk away and get out of a real estate contract. Let's talk about those. The number one reason contracts die is due to something in the inspections. The inspections can kill a deal more often than anything else. That's why we always have a buyer do inspections first. We want you to spend your money on one thing at a time, so we might as well spend it first on what usually will kill a deal. The things really to look out for, I always tell people, don't focus on the nickel and dime things. No house is perfect. Even a new house will not be perfect. So if there is a leaky faucet or a squeaky door, don't cancel a contract over nitpicky little minor things. But there are times when it's not small and nitpicky and it really is a big deal. And if the seller won't budge on these things, these are really important items. It can be something that costs a lot of money, that is a major component of the home, or that is a safety issue, or that can lead to a major issue later. The examples of such are roof, foundation, the septic or sewer line. So you want to make sure the plumbing, especially that kind of plumbing, is great. Electrical can be a big one. Sometimes in really old homes, they have old knob and tube wiring, and all the wiring has to be redone in the house. That can be a major expense. So if that is not factored for in the price or negotiations already, that's something worth negotiating and fighting for. Get something that makes sense negotiation-wise for the price, what you're paying, and so forth. That might be why you should walk away from a real estate contract. The second thing that we see most often can kill a deal are the results of the appraisal. So if the appraisal value comes in less than contract price and the seller will not budge and lower the price, you might have to make a decision to walk away. But again, that's not always the answer either. If you're going after a property in a hot market and you've agreed to pay over and you're willing to pay over, and if you have the money to bring to the table to make up for the difference, it still may be beneficial to pay over a little bit, because we have seen this. So perfect example, and I could name several, but we've had some buyers that, like during COVID, maybe they paid $30,000 over what it was listed for, and maybe the appraisal came in and there was a deficit of $20,000 or $25,000, and the buyer was like, you know, I want it that bad, I'll bring the money to the table. Then you fast forward to where we are today, and if they would have waited, that home would be worth way more now, and they would have paid way more for it later. So you really have got to think that through and know what's happening in the market, what direction it's going, because it may actually be beneficial to pay a little over. We see people doing that. I think it also depends on how long you plan to stay there. How hard is it to find what you want? If you don't get this long, is it going to take you 6 months, a year, 2 years to find the next one? Because then it's just going to constantly get more expensive typically. So that's another reason why maybe it would be time to walk away from the deal. The third reason is if you get a loan denial, sometimes you would feel like you don't have a chance. Not all lenders can do the same kind of loans and will look at the same kinds of things to approve them, and underwriters that work specifically for this bank over this lender and vice versa all have different requirements. It might even just be as simple as getting a second opinion. But obviously you need money to buy a house, so if you can't get a loan approved because you've ran into a hiccup, something has come up that was unforeseen, then yes, you may have to walk away from the deal. Now, for those reasons, inspections, appraisal, loan denial, you're protected with earnest money. Same things with title issues. My fourth reason and last reason is because of issues with the title. So think about a car. If you buy a car and you don't have a title for it, or it's a salvage title or whatever, the value of that automobile goes way down. The same thing with the house. You have to have a good, clean, clear title. You have to be able to change ownership legally. That's what makes it worth more money, is having a good title. So it can be the most wonderful home, but if you have title issues, that's a great reason to walk away from a deal. Or if you know what you're getting into and you're getting it for a steal where you feel like you can hire an attorney and figure it out. But do your homework, because the value greatly diminishes when there's title issues. So you need to keep that in mind. That's something that holds value. So those are the 4 main reasons why I think you may have a good reason to back out of a contract and walk away. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions or you know anyone that needs help. Send them our way.